welcome back to the WCS Challenger League qualifiers here for WCS America. We're in the losers round 4 match between Hendralisk and XY. Of course, whoever wins this will qualify for the Challenger League. Whoever loses it is going to be eliminated. XY is up 1-0 over Hendralisk now, but Hendralisk, earlier he's already knocked out a top Terran in center. So I think he's got a very good shot of making the comeback against XY.
I think he's a little bit timid against Terran right now after having to deal with Liquid Tasia, and I think I would be in the same exact position. But it doesn't really matter too much because we're in game number 2. There's not much he can really do against having to fight against another Terran. This is it. So we're in game number 2 here on Daybreak. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, our Chinese Terran player. Spawning in the blue trunks, it is XY. And spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, our beautiful complexity-teamed Zerg player, it is Hendralisk. So, Hendralisk apparently was incredibly afraid to fight against Tasia, which is understandable. I didn't actually get to hear any type of information of whether or not he was feeling comfortable going into this match. Now, if you were in Hendralisk's position, you know, he did take out center.
And center took out XY 2-0. So,
that's true.
You know, he's got to be
transitive property.
Yeah, transitive property of Starcraft. He's got to be feeling like he's got a very good chance against XY. But that first game, things just didn't go his way.
Mm-hmm. And you know, you can't let a Terran get into that type of position where they can just keep streaming forces across the map. And if you do let them get into that position, you needed your Banelings to hit every single miraculous small, large group marine you possibly can. There's no way that you can win that game with losing Banelings to Marauders. So hopefully Hendralisk will have a little bit of better control this game, and we'll see a little bit better control out of him, not only with those Banelings, but with the rest of his army. And, you know, we'll see where we go from here.
We definitely will. Typically in Zerg versus Terran, what Zerg wants is they want to get a big win versus one of those Terran armies. Because if they win by enough and they still have plenty of units left over, the Terran will have to wait, regroup before pushing out again, and that'll give Zerg the breathing room they need to add in the extra drones, the extra bases, and of course the extra tech to really play in that late game situation.
Hendralisk has to be so happy. He's going for the speedling upgrade yet again, and for once XY is actually going to be getting a Reaper.
Hendralisk, of course, loves that speed upgrade. He's done it every single time in ZVT. It is one of the more standard openings. It's kind of some Zergs like to get early speed, and some just like to rely on queens and just willing to take a couple losses to harass, or willing to cede map control a little bit in exchange for more minerals.
And here comes that first Reaper, now going to be jumping across. The Overlord does scatter it off, so he's going to know that he's justified in going for this gas and turning it into speed very, very quickly. But still, he just has to make sure he's not going to lose too much. Second Reaper is now on the under production, and that will be following that first Reaper very, very closely. They're going to be buddies, they're going to be pals. And we're going to have to see how much damage is possibly going to be taken here.
Oh, he's going for the first drone. It's targeting it down, but the drone pulls back. A nice little positional play with the other drones to block the Reaper, turning a hurt drone into a tractor. Great micro so far by Hendralisk. Hasn't lost a single unit yet to that Reaper. Keeps
the Zergling on top of that ledge. I mean, on a map like Daybreak, there's not that many ledges that a Reaper can really take advantage of. There's really only that one lip that's easy and vulnerable. So putting your forces there, at least one queen or maybe a couple of your Zergling, is going to be the best decision here for trying to catch those Reapers as they're trying to go into your main base.
There he is, using the queen to defend the low ground. The Zerglings on a high ground. Reapers jump up, are greeted by a bunch of claws, and they just have to bounce right back.
So now he's feeling a little bit upset. He doesn't want to have to put these Reapers into a position where they're going to take a lot of damage. So he really can't do that much about doing anything against this Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, he could try to put a little damage on the queen, but if he stays around for much longer, Zergling speed will finish, and those Reapers, oh, they're committing into the main now. A queen's going to start poking at them, and actually, the Zerglings, they're going to cut him off on the low ground. Are they?
Oh, are they going to be able to get him? He
just
takes
barely
a little bit of damage, but not enough to actually take
speed's finished. They can run Reapers down quite easily right now.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to be chasing after that Reaper. They have 6 links to their numbers. The Reapers are running.
I think the Reapers will get back in time. That second or two of hesitation might have saved the Reapers back in the main where they really want to be. but XY pulled that one pretty close as far as the retreat timing.
But we're seeing the same exact push we see from a lot of Terrans who go for that double Reaper. We're going to be seeing, about 4 to 6 Hellions coming out. With these Reapers, I'm going to be putting some pressure onto the Zerg. And I really like this play. It takes really good advantage of the fact that Zergs always try to get a very quick third base after this. It's whether or not the Zerg handles it poorly or really well is what's really going to make the next couple of minutes of the game either really easy for Terran or really easy for Zerg.
It definitely will. This is the situation where the Zerg really wants to try to get those speeding surrounds onto Hellions, and the two ways to really do that, besides hoping your opponent makes a mistake, are either have enough creep spread that your opponent has to go deep into creep, or your Zerglings are extra fast. Hendralisk doesn't quite have that creep spread quite yet. So the other way to try to trap those Hellions is to set up a double-sided attack. Maybe try to send some speedings around and hit from multiple angles.
But we don't see any Speedlings under production tab just yet. Still the original 6 from before. But meanwhile, it looks like Hendralisk is trying to get an income advantage. He's at 52 to the 32 right now for XY. And finally starting to move those queens over there to start helping out with that third hatchery.
Oh, and he's got a spine to cover the ramp that goes up to his natural as well, so I don't think there's going to be too much damage that XY can get done. He's going to test the ramp here, but if he tries to commit too far, it would be a pretty big risk because he doesn't know how many speedlings are out there. If he runs deep into creep, of course, he risks getting surrounded.
He attacked the automaton.
That wasn't very nice.
Right? It's down to 2 health. Almost died.
It was from Splash. Yeah, from a Hellion Splash.
Hellion Splash.
One Hellion hit did splash on that, but now going back to the third base, this queen may go down. Speedlings try to save the queen. In fact, another queen pops out.
And that third base is down. It's down to half its health. That's a really, really difficult spot here. He has to make sure he doesn't lose that third base. I mean, it's not that much damage coming up from Hellions and Reapers, but in a position like this where you don't have that much to really ward off these Hellions and Reapers, it's possible that could go down. Now here comes a whole bunch of Zergling. They're actually going to get roasted in a couple of really great salvos there by the Hellions, and now this is not the position that Hendralisk wants to be in. The one queen is going to go down. There's still one more queen. More Zergling do come out. They're going to clean up 2 of those Hellions. The Reaper's still trying to fend this off, and oh, it looks like the last batch of Zergling are going to do a lot of damage, but not enough. Yes, actually enough.
He's definitely held it off, and that was almost the perfect defense. If you barely hold the harassment, it means you defended just right because you didn't overmake units, and we can see that in the drone count. Hendralisk, very, very healthy drone count on all 3 of his bases. He's going to be very happy with the way this game's opened up.
And he's got this third base over here for XY, and starting to build up a little bit of a wall here. Throws down his first Widow Mine. And look at this. We already see so many Widow Mines coming out here from XY. This is, we were asking before, what is XY's TVZ? I can tell you right now, it's Widow Mines, Widow Mines, Widow Mines.
It's really interesting because he's just been continually producing them after he stopped building those Hellions. And this is something a lot of Terrans, what they do is they use that factory to initially just build a lot of reactors for barracks, a lot of reactors for starports. And that's why, for example, XY, he doesn't have the biggest bio army because he hasn't been using the factory to do those things. But it also means he's got a lot more Widow Mines, and we saw how effective they were last game.
As long as he can get those incredibly great connects like he did last game, he's going to be throwing himself into a really great position.
Oh.
But he has to be, Hendralisk is going to be a little bit more wary of all these Widow Mines.
Hendralisk is not going Spire. He's going 2-2 Baneling speed, spending all his gas morphing a ton of Banelings. Has XY seen his head? He's going to see it right now, and he's going to know exactly what he's fighting.
But the speed Baneling upgrade has not finished up there, so these are nice little waddly, slow Banelings. Not what he really wants to be using, and the Widow Mine has recharged. Oh no, here come the Banelings. There we go, actually spending 2 Zergling to try and draw out that Widow Mine hit, and here come the Banelings right behind it.
Like you mentioned, Baneling speed is not quite done yet. I don't know how much damage he can get done here. Deciding he can't get any, which is of course the right call. All he would have gotten is a bunker and some depots. He needs to have the speedings to back his tag up. More and more Baneling speed, more.
Oh, wow.
So many Banelings, 31 more being morphed here.
31 Banelings, that's happening right now. 15 more, 15 already out on the map. 31 more Banelings, so that's gonna be 46 Banelings coming out here. And that's a really scary amount of Baneling. So yeah, another Widow Mine is spent here. He's going to go straight on for this third base, it looks like. And possibly as soon as the third base is going to get defended, he's going to go straight on into the natural as he's positioned the rest of his army.
Yeah, he's knocking away for 2-2, going in right when Baneling speed finishes. A little bit hesitant, but now he's going into the natural to main force.
Oh, but there's so many Widow Mines in here.
Oh, God.
And they're getting completely slaughtered, but the Banelings are still rolling on in here. They're doing so much damage. They're going through all of the forces, but do they do enough damage to warrant the commitment?
The Widow Mines took out so many of the Banings, and there weren't enough speedies to follow it through. XY now using the SCVs as a buffer of way more Banings being morphed. Hendralisk is going to try it one more time to break this defense.
16 more Banelings on the way. The Zergling now trying to go on into the third base, but unfortunately there's so many Widow Mines. There's just so many Widow Mines.
Too many Widow Mines around here. 2-2 is moments from completion. Hendralisk, wait for, okay, there we go. He's got 2-2.
And here he
SCVs
comes.
are vulnerable.
He's going straight on into those SCVs, doing a lot of damage. He's taken out 14 so far, but with so many Banelings, 14 SCVs, I would expect a lot more hits.
He definitely wanted a lot more. Now he's adding Spire, thinking about making a transition. A fourth hatchery going up as well. The good side is, you know, he's kept XY's army size relatively small.
That is quite true. More Banelings coming in here once again. Looks like they're going to get somewhat good connects, but with those double bunkers right there, there's not really that much damage he can do. Just more and more Banelings. Wow.
He's just going to keep throwing everything at XY. If he can keep trading and trading and trading, maybe eventually his transition out is actually going to work, because we can see Infestation Pit is finishing. Once he adds some Infestors to his army, that can make it much, much more effective.
And it looks like here comes those Banelings once again, but they're again detonating on just, you know, small packs, 1 to 2 Marines at a time. Not where his gas really wants to be going.
He really wants to try to get enough speedies to trap the Marines and then force them to get hit by those Banings. XY is now has the confidence to move out. He's got 2-1 upgrades, only behind by a single upgrade, and he's got enough medevacs that if this attack is about to be overrun, he'll just pick all the units up and get out of there.
2 more Speedlings are going to be caught off, and with the physics, they just kind of slide across the map. That's still fun to watch. I love the physics in Heart of the Swarm. 3 medevacs are going to load up with about 15 here Marines, and they're going to go over to the third base. Third base has 1 Spine Crawler, not too much really defending it, but the Mutalisks are now starting to come out.
Speedling spots the drop play from XY. Hendralisk, his moving his Spore and Spine to intercept these drops, but they're actually splitting up, 1 to the fourth, 1 to the third.
Oh, very well played here. The Mutalisks are going to try and take out this medevac before it's actually started able to drop. The Speedlings are here to get the surround on these Marines. And it looks like that medevac drop is going to be cleaned up really easily. Now here comes the third base. Is he going to be able to do as much damage here?
No, a great defense by Hendralisk. Triple drops all at once. Not any of the 3 drops doing significant damage. And now Hendralisk is starting to get that supply lead, but he still hasn't started his high tech yet. Perhaps just wanting to make sure he gets that 4 base economy going first.
And let's take a look at those upgrades. +2 armor ship about to finish up here for the Marines, but +3 weapons is about 3/4 the way done here. Once you get those upgrades, that's going to be a pretty good spot for XY to be sitting at. Hendralisk still sitting at 2-2.
XY is going to grab that upgrade advantage. He doesn't have too many Widow Mines, so he's going to have to use the medevacs and the stim Marines to micro against the Banings as best he can here.
But the more and more best speed he spends here is going to be a lot less is going to be spent on tech. And that's going to be keeping... Oh, wow, look at the split coming out here from XY. That is making those Banelings completely nullified in use. More and more Marines starting to pour out here. Widow Mines as well. The Overseer is taken out. There's just a sparing amount of Zergling and Mutas.
XY continues to just rally Marines across the map. 15 Marines at a time being produced. The third attack upgrade is now completing. And Hendralisk is starting to run low on larvae. He's not able to keep sending the same quantity of Zerglings to combat this as he was earlier.
Oh man, there's more and more Banelings coming in here, but again, oh wow, he picks them up at the last second. The Widow Mine is going to be able to go down. How much health does that Widow Mine have? That's 6 health. And
6.
more and more Vespene is just being spent on these Banelings, but I mean, look at this. There's no 3-3 on the way. There's no hive tech. There's nothing. He's got the Infestation Pit, and he was, you know, trying to get a couple of mutas out, but in relying so much on these Banelings that are just not doing enough, he's kind of throwing himself really far behind.
XY's micro has been great, but here come the Banings, lifting up to avoid him, jetting back. Widow Mine, oh, the splash damage takes out one of the medevacs. And that's actually a nice win for Hendralisk. That was a full medevac of units. And
there's so many Banelings yet again, but oh, the beautiful splits, just not even before the Banelings even think about going over there, he's splitting everything up. And those splits again and again and again.
Some nice, baiting out of those Widow Mine shots. If he can go in now before more reinforcements come, that could be his chance to try to clean things up, but I don't feel he has enough Speedlings. He's got almost all Banelings.
But here's one thing that I will like to keep in mind. 79 Harvesters to 46. and that is in favor of Hendralisk right now. Hendralisk has got a lot of drones out. He's on 3 bases, but so is XY. So that means that these bases are mining out way quicker. Widowmine does take a good shot. Oh man, this game is just constantly going on. I don't know how excited I could be every single second of it. But here comes yet another huge group of Speedlings trying to come in and do as much damage as possible. 14 Marines are in production.
Oh, big Widowmine shot here.
This is that stream of Marines that we keep talking about.
It's just too much production. With the great economy XY has, all the mules, all the 3-base saturation, I can just continue to pour in Marines, whereas Hendralisk is struggling to rebuild his forces. He now has a decent Mutaflog up, but he's lost all his Banelings.
And there's going to be a couple more Banelings coming in here, but they just, I mean, there's not going to be enough to really be effective. Another great split, picking up the last couple of Marines before anything happens. The mutant numbers are starting to grow up here, and that's actually starting to become a little bit more sizable, but still, there's just so many Marines there. 3-2, +3 armor is on the way as well, and there's just so much damage going down here. All the mules are starting to fall.
All the Mulists with the insufficient support. The Widowmines have recharged, now putting their hits on the Mulists. Mulists have to back up 30 more Speedlings in production, but 30 Speedlings is not going to stop this many Marines.
Especially if all those Mulists die beforehand.
Oh, the macro hatch is about to fall.
And the macro hatch, and not only that, but the third hatch from before that was already weakened. That is a prime target right now for XY. If he takes that out, Hendralisk is going to have so little mining. His main is completely mined out. His natural is pretty mined out. There's the GG. XY takes it out 2-0.
Wow, what a nice performance by XY. They're never letting up on the pressure. Constant Marines just rolling across the map. So, I mean, he wins 2-0. He's going to advance into the Challenger League. But, man, I do feel Hendralisk did put him under a little pressure early with those mass Baneling attacks.
Hendralisk did such a good job, but unfortunately, you know, you're water on rock. It's whether or not that water can keep going until the rock, you know, completely wastes away. And unfortunately, XY is a sizable rock. He's a boulder himself, and he was just not able to be weathered down.
So that's going to finish up that match. XY advances to the Challenger League. Unfortunately, Hendralisk is going to have to try again next season. We'll be on with another match after a short break.